Yeah, it is last course. When you come. Now I can come over. Those who can't see me and all cannot hear. I think some of you can't see me. Those who can't see me, all cannot hear. So, the subject we are going to start today is counting in digital environment, and your accounts or the subject postcode we call that is BSAA 22016. So I will be your course lecturer for all 15 weeks. That is the bad story. So you'll have to bear with me whether you like it or not for 15 weeks. And especially if you just want to know who I am, there is a photo of me. This is the best photo I could find in all my devices. And my name is Malinda Pereira. And these are my qualifications. And recently I added one more qualification, Institute of Analytics, we got the associate. And currently I'm working as a senior lecturer of the University of Galle. And at the moment I'm the head of the accounting analytics. And this is my email address, which is most important to you. If you have any specific reason to communicate with me, exam related matters or assignment related matters or any other very specific reason that is not covered in the class that you could not discuss in the class, but you have to specifically communicate with me. You can use this email address. But for any simple reasons, don't send email. There are certain reasons you can discuss with your friends and clarify. Right? So those you can do yourself, but if you really want to communicate, you can use that email address. And so that is about myself. And I've been teaching in number of institutes and other universities. And in SAP, I was teaching in 2016, 17, during that period when the SAP was there in the CA institute. When this university was not there, SAP was there, but in the CA institute building itself. Then after that, for my master's, I stopped doing weekend lectures for like 3 years. And then after that, recently I started teaching here. And this is, I think, as I remember, the fourth batch I'm teaching. I go to fourth batch. Yeah. So, this my UOP, I've been teaching for more than like 10 years, different versions. But this is like I can teach you how to start the software and how to finally prepare the financial statements which is required for a small and medium-sized business organization. Right? So that confidence you can have if you correctly follow all these lectures. And do you know this the meaning of this course code? Right? Second year, first number is for the year, second number is for the second number is for the semester. You are in the second year, second semester. 01 is the specific course code for that semester. Subject Last digit is the important digit, but that is the number of credits, right? So it's a 3-hour lecture and 3 credits you are going to get for your GPA, right? And in your GPA, you are supposed to collect 120 credits, right? If you're following 4-year degree, you're following the 4-year degree, right? It is 4 years, 120 credits you have to earn. Out of that 120, this is going to give you 3 credits. The meaning is 3 hours of classroom learning is required, right? So we'll have to take a small break of 15 minutes or 3 hours we can't done, but we'll make sure we start the lecture sharp at 3 o'clock, right? Today we had a small parking issue there, vehicles, and that's why I got a bit late. Otherwise, I'm usually coming on time. I want my students also to come on time because any time you waste on this, so you are not covering these 3 credits, 3 hours. Right? We'll try our best to cover that. And that's about this subject. And also, and there is very special feature of this subject, this course finish, compared to other course finishes, right? One major difference between this course finish and other course finishes is when in other course finishes, when the lecturer comes and delivers the lecture, right? You will have options. You all can listen to the lecture. You all can actively participate in the lecture. And when lecturer asks questions, you can answer those questions. You can raise questions. That is called active participation. Or else you can even passively where I not. Right? Or else you have another option. What is that option? What is the other option? You can sleep in the yeah, in theoretical other subjects. But in this subject, this course really, you don't have options. Right? You don't have options because only today, because it's the first day, I am going to give an introduction of the course. Today only you are listening to a presentation, PowerPoint lecture. Right? So today you have options. Only for today. Right? You have the options. But from next week, we are going to start with a software package. Right? The lecture will happen in the lab on the other side. So you will have no options. You will have to start working in the software. Right? So it's always active participation. Every step I click on the software, you have to follow it. Right? Every menu that we are going to modify, you have to modify that menu. Every transaction I record here, you will have to record that transaction. Right? It's a active course. And also another thing, this subject is different than other course because first day learning is required for you to start the next day learning. Let me give you an example. So next week, we are going to start working with the Majority software and we are going to create the company file. We are going to create a company file. We are going to create the company using this software. Let's say one student should not come that day next week. Then week after that student is coming. So we are opening the created company file and starting to modify the accounts. Then for that student, he or she doesn't have the company to modify the accounts. Sounds risky. Sounds risky. So continuous attendance is not necessary, it's a must in this course. If you want to learn this. And still there can be real reasons, unexpected situations where you won't be able to come to the class. Things can happen. But then it's your responsibility to ask from a friend, cover the content, know how it is done in the last week, right? Cover the content up to that point and modify your company file up to that extent and bring the updated company file in the next week. Right? You can't be ignorant in this subject. That is the difference. Right? Without knowing what has happened in the previous week, you can't count the course. Okay. So that is the risky part of this subject. Okay. So that is why the discipline is essential in this course. Right. So during the class, you have to focus on this course, whatever the content we are learning here. Right. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. And so that is the scary part. Keep that in your mind, put that required effort, and give that commitment. And the interesting part is also there. It's not a scary subject. It's not a scary subject. I told you to have some discipline. Otherwise, it will be difficult. And the good thing about this subject is, here, this assessment part. Okay. When you are continuously coming to the class, right? Every day you will be working with the software package and a company file you are creating. You will be continuously working with that company file. And I will be adding 4 drop boxes to upload the working company file that you will be continuously working in the class. Right? You are most updated company file, you have to just upload to the given Dropbox. Okay. If you upload those 4 company files in the given intervals, right? Maybe in 2 weeks, in another 3 weeks, in another 5 weeks, likewise I will be uploading. When required content is completed in the company file, you have to submit that company file. Nothing additional, right? The same company file you are using in the class, you have to upload. When you upload that, this continuous assignment submission 10 marks, you are without any extra effort, you are only 10 marks. Just for maintaining the discipline in the class. Just by completing the company file on time and submitting it, you are getting 10 marks. Good things about it. Right? Very good. You don't even have to do anything. Then there will be an online quiz. Exercise, can't take. Select an answer. Right? And that quiz is also from the software. Nothing from the additional knowledge. You can't add GPT and find answers. You don't have to and you can't. Right? It's purely from the software. It's from the interfaces. Software has some interfaces. You will be given an interface. You will be given an option. What are you going to do with this option? That's the question. Right? So if you are working with the software, there's nothing to study. Right? You know what is done in that particular function or region. Right? So that quiz is also like bonus marks. You have to be fine with the software. You have to be okay with the software of that. But it is easy marks. Right? 20%. Then after completing like the 13 sessions, as I said, yeah, in the 13th session, you are given a similar case study like what we discussed in the class. Right? We are in the class, we are discussing a case study continuously. Just like the same case study, I am giving you a new case study in a different data. Right? So all 14 or 13 weeks learning will be getting it as a small document. You have to prepare that company file and upload to the given Dropbox. In the class, it will be happening like an assignment, right? Like an examination environment, we will be doing it. So that you are getting another 20 marks. Right? So before the examination, you are getting 50 marks. How many marks do you want to pass the examination? Okay. 40 is C pass. You want 50? 40. You need 40 marks to get a C pass. Then to get the exemptions, I think we will have to have 50 marks or something. As far as I know, it's 40 marks. Yeah, yes, let's say 50 marks anyway. Now, anyway, you are getting that 50 marks. You are getting that 50 marks even before you go to the examination. It doesn't mean you can skip the examination, final examination. You have to attend to the final examination to get your final grade, right? But without the stress, you can go to the examination, right? Because you know you are comfortable with some 30-40 marks at least from the assignments. Okay. Even the final examination, end examination is going to be a practical examination, not a written paper. right? Not a written paper. A practical examination happening in the lab. Again, you have to do something similar to this case-based assignment. Again, you are given a case, right? Again, you are given a case to create a company file, record the transactions, modify the company file, do all that, and generate some reports and submit them to the doctors. That's you are given a printed paper. In that paper, you have the case study. Okay. So you have to submit that paper, but your answer script is the soft copy, company file. You have to submit that, right? So for that, again, you are getting another 50 marks. These two are similar. Case-based assignment is very much similar to the final practical examination. If you are fine with the case-based assignment, you have to be fine with the final examination. Very similar, but little bit lengthy. The paper is a little bit lengthy and more transactions are there. But it's almost the same. And the good thing about this is in this case, if you do any activity or any action correctly, there is no way the examination reduces marks. Right. For example, there is a module where you can create cards. Right. Let's say suppliers. You are creating suppliers in the system. And creating one supplier is known as creating a supplier card. Right. If you know how to create the supplier card, right? Let's say you have created five suppliers. You are doing the same thing 5 times. For all 5 times, you are getting marks. But only learning required is knowing how to create a supplier. With one knowledge, you can earn a lot of money. Right? So believe me, when I did my undergraduates, in my research transcript, you are getting a transcript at the end. In my transcript, I had only one A plus. A plus. I had enough A's, but only one A plus. That is for this subject. Computer as account. That is so many years ago. I think that 13 years ago, 12 years ago. Only one A plus. That is for this. The reason is this is you can score easy marks. Only thing required is the discipline and understanding. Right? So that is what you really need about this subject. And here the course content, I'm not going to read that. Okay. It's available in the LMS, you all can read it. That is about what is the subject and what are the areas covered. What is important to you is the lesson plan, sessions plan. Right? So let me just open it. Here, these are the learning outcomes. Basically, I want you to read this, right? I want you all to read all this. So basically, at the end of this course unit, completion of this course unit, you should be able to apply or install the software in a computer into a real business and manage their accounts. Right? Manage their accounts and you should be able to share their financial reports. P&L, balance sheet, and all. That is basically what is required. Outcome-based learning is that you should be able to do that. That is the outcome required, right? And then your recommended readings are the guidelines or guides given. But I will guarantee you that if you read the given notes, if you refer to my lectures, you will be able to get 100% marks at the examination. Okay. So here, this is the lesson plan which is important to you. Right. So today, we are in this week number 1. This is an introduction. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to cover an overview of what is the software, what is computerized accounting, what is the problem with the manual accounting, and why organizations wanted computerized accounting, all that. The development of computerized accounting we are going to discuss. And so that is the overall understanding. We are not going to touch the software, right? And also, I will tell you how to install the MyOB software. All the guidelines are given. I'll just show the link, right? So that you can download and install MyOB software in your own laptops, your own computers at home. You can install the MyOB software, and then you can practice at home. Okay. This software is having a few options. The same software you can use as the student version for 90 days. Software is not expired. Software is not expired. You can use it continuously. The company file you are creating under the student version, that is allowing you to work with for 90 days. So in 90 days, we will finish the course. Therefore, there's no problem with the working company file also. So even when you create a company file, you can use it for 90 days. Right? Thereafter, software does not get expired. Only that company file gets expired. You can still open and see, but you can't monitor. Right? So with the software, you can create another company file. That's it. Okay. Then in second week, we'll be discussing about the security and maintenance, how to control the access, how different people are logging into the system, and how to control different people's access. Different people are logging into the same system and working in different modules. Then they should be given some password separately and all that, and how to take the backups and everything. We'll be discussing in the second week, right? So in the second week is the next week. So we will start the company file creation and security maintenance. And then in the third week, we will discuss about tax codes and account list. Okay, that's a small lag. Then in the fourth week, we will be continuing the accounts list and the formation journal. That is the first journal entry we are going to record in the fourth week. Okay. And then the expenditure cycle is where you spend money, where you make expenses, how to record an expense in the system, right? And then under the expenditure cycle, in the sixth week, we'll be starting to create the supplier cards. Right? Because in this business operation, we have to have suppliers to continue our operation. And then in the second week, we will be creating the inventory. Okay, inventory items. For us to buy and sell items, we have to have inventory in our company. So we have to create a list of the inventory. We'll learn how to do that. And then 7th and 8th week, we'll be taking for that. Okay. Then in the 9th week, you will be having the most awaited online quiz. Okay. Online quiz you will have in the 9th week. So quiz will contain questions only from the areas you have learned up to that point, right? Nothing from the rest of the parts. And then again, supplier purchasing and supplier payments you will learn after that. And then you will start after purchasing. You have inventory items in your company. Then you can start selling, right? Then you can start the sales process. So you can start how to sell them, and then after selling, you have to collect cash. By the 12th week, you will learn how to collect cash and settle those accounts. And then in the 13th week, right, we will be having a human resource and payroll cycle. And in the 14th week, right, we will be having a revision. And around these 2 weeks, out of these 2 weeks, I will tell you the case-based assignment will also be conducted, right? Most probably in the 13th week. Right? Before the human resource cycle, we will do the case-based assignment, and then we will move on to the human resource cycle, and then we will be conducting a revision session before your final examination. Right? So that revision session is really important. We are discussing a paper. Most of the time, it's about paper. That is more than enough for you to get an A+ for this subject. Right? Because in this subject, I can't. Even the examiner can't complicate the paper. There is no way of complicating. In financial accounting, it can be complicated by giving unnecessary adjustments, this and that, everything. But in this paper, what can I do? I can give you information. I want to do that information and do something in the software. Right? If you know how to do it, you know it. Paper will be complicated if you don't know it. That's it. Right? Therefore, in the final week, depending on the time, we will be discussing about the cloud accounting, right? Because cloud accounting is the modern trend. Now ERPs are also being cloud-based, so we will be discussing on those aspects, right? So those are the areas we are going to cover, and then assessments. It's the same story that I shared in the LMS, right? In the front page, the same assessment structure was there. It's the same; it does not change. So that is about your learning required for this subject. Okay, that is the journey you are going to go. I hope that is clear. Okay, right. Now Here, let me explain that also because people coming into this. And here there is a link. Okay, in your course page there is a link. When you click on this link, there is a small folder. You can download that folder. In that folder, you have the MyUB accounting software and a small guideline of how to install it. Right? How to install that software into your computer. Right? And there is another document. If there is an error coming in, because after this software, some updates have come to the Windows models that is blocking this software, assuming this is a 5S version or something. Right? So there is another link for a video, an Indian video, YouTube video. So that will guide you how to change those settings and install them. Right? So with that, if that happens only, otherwise it will be easily installed. Right? Guidelines are there. You can install in your own computers. In our lab, everything is installed properly. Right? So it's not a problem for that. Right? So we will. Then, that is about the information about the course, right? So now we will start discussing accounting in digital environment. Right? If you all have your mobile phone, even you can refer to the note. If you have taken a print out, that's okay. Right? Ready? Everyone? Ready for this? Yes. Right. Now, before any lesson, especially in theoretical subjects and anything, you are having learning outcomes. The slide called learning outcomes. Right? You have experience, right? In all subjects. But unfortunately, in this subject, only today you will have this learning outcome. Right? From the next week, we'll be starting with the software. So for software and every aspect, you don't have learning outcome. It's the learning of software package, right? So today you have learning outcome, and I want to highlight this learning outcome slide. What do you think it's about? You should when you study, you have done few exams now. From the first year to this year, you have studied for examinations, right? Do you read this learning outcome slide when you're studying? Honestly, tell me. So what is about this? What is this learning slide? What is the meaning of it? Outcome expected from you after learning this topic. The thing from an examiner's point of view. Usually in university systems, the lecturer becomes the examiner. In the school only, teachers are different, examination is done by different party, and marking is done by different party. In university system, one of the time, the lecturer becomes the exam. There can be a panel also. And when lecturer is telling you, this is what I expect from you after this lesson. Right? When that person is setting the paper, what he wants the student to do is the same. What is he trying to check from the students? Whether the students have learned. Learning outcomes. Whether the students have gained the learning outcomes is tested in the paper. So, these learning outcomes are most probably becoming your exam questions. Right? If you carefully notice, if you have time only you can do it, but just understand. If you go and check in your papers, exam papers, and the relevant post lecture slides learning outcome, right? You will find 80 to 90%, it's the same thing being tested. Learning outcomes is being tested. For example, since this is a practical examination, you can't do that comparison. In the theoretical subject, go and try. Identify the need for computer accounting. That you should know. You should know what is the need for computer accounting. Right? In the paper, there will be a question giving a small story. After the story, identify what is the need of the computer accounting for blah 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 company. The learning outcome is being converted into a question. Right? If you are supposed to explain the features of computer accounting environment, you will be required to given a small case, the story, and ask explain. That is the exact word they are using. Explain what are the features this particular company needs to make it a computer accounting environment. So one to one you can match certain questions. Therefore, this is the most important line in any lecture. Okay, so here you are going to learn identify the need for computer accounting, why computer accounting is needed, and then what are the features of computer accounting environment. Right? Computer accounting is not just a computer and a software. It's an environment. Everything is aligned to that. Right? Then what are the features, special characteristics of it? Able to find. And then identify different types of computer accounting software. We can't make a list of it because every time new software packages are coming in. So we will just look at who are the providers of this software and what are the commonly used software. A few of them. Some modern other software that can come day by day. They are being updated, right? And then discuss the advantages and disadvantages of computer accounting. Because of the advantages, we are using computer accounting systems. But the same computer accounting systems can have some disadvantages. Right? Anything that comes to the world will have advantages and disadvantages. Right? Electric vehicles, the biggest problem we have in the country, whether electric vehicles are good or bad. Right? That is what most of the people are arguing about. So, good things are there, bad things are there. Advantages and disadvantages. Think of anything in the world, they have both. Right? Similarly, even the computer accounting systems, they have its own advantages and also some disadvantages. We'll see what they are and how we can overcome those disadvantages. Slide. Okay. Now, what is computer accounting systems? What is computer accounting system? If someone asks you what is a computer accounting system, if I ask the same question from all these students, one by one, you will tell me different answers. Different answers. I don't have time to ask that, but All those different answers will be addressing some common points. Right? Based on how you have experienced it, based on how you have seen it, right? Based on how you have heard about it, you will be defining it differently. Right? But whatever the way you define it, there are certain common characteristics that have to be there in a computer accounting system. Right? So computer accounting involves making use of a computer and accounting software to record, store, and analyze financial data. If it's a computer accounting system, you have to have a few key things. One thing is you should be using computers. Right? You should be using computers. If I ask you, what are the characteristics of an accounting system? Right? If I ask the same question in ignoring only one word, what are the features of a computer? What are the features of an accounting system? Right? You don't have to mention using computers. Even when the computers were not there, accounting systems were there. Right? How the accounting records are maintained. The system. The record bookkeeper will be recording it, the accountant will be reviewing it, and then accounts will be finalized and final financial statements will be prepared. All these were happening, even without computers. But when it comes to a computer's accounting system, obviously there should be a computer. Computing device should be involved in the process. That is one major factor. And then there should be an accounting software. That is why when we are preparing financial statements using MS Excel, Microsoft Excel, we don't call it an accounting system, a computer's accounting system. Right? Okay. After manual accounting, the next era was using spreadsheets to prepare accounts. Right? There was an era. I hope you have not experienced that. Using Excel, preparing financial statements, you have not experienced. You all have skipped some eras and directly came to the computer's accounting era. Right? We have experienced all three. Manual accounting. Manual accounting, anyway, you have to do in your IELTS, right? Whether you like it or not. Manual accounting, you are doing, right? So even here in the examinations, you are doing manual accounting. You are experiencing that, but you are not experiencing the Excel-based accounting. The problem is companies are very rarely companies will be using Excel to record accounts. Right? That is not bad, but the problem is anytime the cells can be deleted. That is the problem in Excel. Therefore, for preparing accounts using Excel, we don't call it a computer's accounting software or computer's accounting. The reason is it does not involve an accounting software. Okay. Then, if you have a computer and an accounting software, that is a computer's accounting system, and it should be able to record, store, and analyze financial data. Right? Recording should be possible. Right? And after recording, what you do? It should be stored. If you are recording today, next day morning, if that is not available in the system, that is not a computer's accounting system. Right? Then you should be able to store, and after storing, you should be able to analyze it. Right? Summarizing, presenting, analysis, all that should be possible. If you can't do that, there's no point of using a system. Right? So if all these are happening about nothing else but the financial data. Right? There is a prime rule in accounting. Anything that can be measured only can be recorded. Right? Anything can be measured only can be recorded in accounting. Right? That's why accountants are always behind evidence. Numbers. They are going to become accountants. Right? All of them can be accountants. Even I was professionally, I was an accountant. Then I was transformed into a hybrid, including accounting and tech. Right? Before that, I was an accountant, not a chartered accountant, but a CMA accountant, CA accountant, management accountant. I have private sector experience as a management. Right? So, if you are going to become an accountant, you should be measuring everything. You should be keeping track records of it, and you should be analyzing it. Okay. Therefore, it should always be financial data. Right? You can't enter feelings. Right? How you feel about you are opposing colleague or something. You can't do anything based on that. Right? It's factful evidence all the time. Right? Then a computer accounting system brings with its many advantages that are unavailable to analog accounting systems. Right? In analog or manual accounting systems, there are so many disadvantages. Those disadvantages are taken away by this computerized accounting system. Right? And then another definition, proper definition given here. An accounting system is a collection of processes, procedures, and controls. Right? When you start working with the software, you will realize it is a set of processes. Right? That's why I told you you have to keep the continuous attention. It's a set of processes. One process done, then you can go to the next process. Right? If you have not done the previous process, you can't go to the next process. It's a set of processes. Right? And also procedures. Orderly they are designed. Right? You can't do whatever the way you like. Right? Unless you enter the date in the right format, you are not allowed to record the transcription. Unless there is a exact credit entry for the debit entry, you are not allowed to enter or record the transaction. Right? Very clearly procedures are designed. Okay? And also there are controls. Okay? There are controls. One such control is if you have given password for one person, you will be learning about this. If you give password for another user, and if you restrict certain areas, the banking transactions are restricted for this person, then you can never go and touch the banking transactions. You can't go. You are just getting an error. Okay. So controls are there. Right. And then they are designed to collect, record, classify, and summarize financial data. Again, the same story that we discussed before. Right. And for the output is, or the outcome is, interpretation and management decision making. You should be able to interpret the financial data, and based on that, you should be able to make management decisions. Right? All the reporting came into the world because decision makers wanted to make decisions. Right? You can't be making ad hoc decisions about businesses. Right? In your personal life, sometimes you may be making decisions based on your gut feeling. I think that is good, so I do it. Right? I feel that this is the good decision, so I'm doing this. But in a business organization, the hands of those who are already working in organizations. Almost all the time. Very good. Almost. You should be experienced in this. You should be experienced in this. In organizations, you can't make decisions as you like. Right? Whatever the decision you make, there should be evidence. Or there should be a logical reason. And there should be a reason. Right? Yeah. For those decision making, you have to have information, data and information. That is why we call data-driven decisions. Data-driven decisions are the decisions that are accepted by anyone. Okay. So for that decision making, computer accounting is giving superb support. That is why we are using computer accounting rather than the manual. Right? In your side, do you have one more slide? In the same slide, you should be happy. Like, but there was a slide. We have 70 slides in the slide. We have 70 slides. There was one question. There was one question in the first slide, which was missing, I guess. That is, yes, idea. I want your idea about the problems with manual accounting. What are the problems with manual accounting? Let's say you are report manually, collecting invoices, writing it down on the primary books, and after taking the totals, you are posting them in the accounts, and after totaling the accounts, you are taking the trial balance, and the trial balance, you are doing adjustments, and then preparing the financial statements. What are the problems with that? Manual accounting. Time consuming. One problem. Lot of time consumed, right? Accounting departments were so big in the traditional accounting here, right? So many employees were there, right? Some people were focusing on one small job role, like bookkeeping. They wanted to be bookkeepers. There were a lot of people who were willing to become bookkeepers, right? So there were large accounting departments, time consuming. Any other problems with manual accounting? Human errors, right? People can make errors, and those errors can frauds can happen, right? When people are manually doing it, frauds can happen. That's why some organizations are reluctant to go for the thumbprint machines also. Right? They want to sign because even after the deadline, they can come and sign somewhere, right? Manual stuff you can do frauds. And any other? From this side. Accuracy problem. Yeah, errors. Lot of errors. People can make errors, and also we can't blame people also for errors because people make mistakes, right? And the biggest problem with errors is, it's a good point. The biggest problem with errors, especially in an area like accounting, is very difficult for you to segregate between an error and a fraud. Right? Let's say you are supposed to write a bank check for 10,000. Mistakenly, you wrote it for 100,000. Right? Mistakenly. Then, when the, let's say, client or someone who has claimed, went and taken that money, how can you prove whether that was a mistake or is it a fraud that you have done with that client? Very difficult for you to, right? Very difficult for you to prove that that was an error, right? So that human errors is another problem in manual accounting, right? Okay. Any other? Security issues, right? When you are doing manual accounting, you have a huge list of books, right? Then anyone who has access to those books can come and alter, right? Who can come and alter or erase or modify those numbers, right? So security is a serious issue. We'll ask from this side, this corner. Problem with manual accounting. Yes. Data can be destroyed. Entered information can be destroyed. Let's say a flood came, right? You had a set of books in the cupboard, all gone, right? Then you don't have any history, you don't have any record, everything is gone. Everything was on books, right? Very good. Storage issue, right? Storage issue. The mini version of the storage issue, many students are experiencing in the A-levels or any examinations, accounting examinations. What is the storage issue? Let's say you are drawing the P&L or the balance sheet, right? P&L, and after in the next page you are drawing the balance sheet. When you start recording, you realize there are so many expenses in the income statement, and the space is not enough. Then you can go to the next page. In the next page, you have the balance sheet. Right? Now we have to record it. It's a serious problem. It is a real problem in manual accounting in organizations. Right? Let's say for one account you are maintaining 3 pages. Okay. There are certain accounts that have so many transactions, but there are certain accounts that have very limited transactions. Okay. So this account is done and done, completed, and space is enough. Space is over for one account, but the other accounts are having enough space. So you can throw the book away also because other accounts have space. But for this account, you don't have the space, right? Because of that, a lot of books are wasted in one case. And when these books are accumulated, there is a huge space to need. You need cupboards and cupboards. That's why you see in very old type organizations, traditional type organizations, so many steel cupboards are there. Right? And a lot of books and documents inside that. At least for 5 years, you have to keep some documents. Therefore, storage issue is a big problem. Any other issues? Manual account. Speed, yeah, speed of getting the information you need. Let's say in a manual accounting environment, your boss needs a report, right? Your boss needs a report. He will have to inform you. Let's say the report is needed in another 3 days, right? Even 3 days is not enough for you to prepare the report because manually you have to pick every information and create or generate the accounts, right? Let's say if you want to prepare a monthly profit and loss, right? Monthly profit and loss account, if you want to prepare that, so it will take so much of time, right? You have to collect exactly the monthly expenses, monthly revenue, and everything. You have to manually calculate everything, and right? Any other issues in manual account? Real time. You can't find real time entries. Yes. For example, let's say you want to calculate the profit for today. Today is not a cut-off date, right? Today is 11th. 11th is no any special, not even the middle of the month, not the end of the month. Yeah. Yes. 11th. So for today, what is the profit? If someone asks you, today, what is the profit? Real time. In a manual accounting, right? In a manual accounting system, it's very difficult to prepare the information for today. Because if you total the accounts, if you balance the account for today, right? 11, there's no meaning of that report. Therefore, you have to stay at least till the end of the month. Till the end of the month to prepare the statement. Right? All those are good ideas about the problems with manual accounting. And I'm pretty sure some of you have referred to the next slide, and based on that information also you have crafted some problems with the manual accounting. That is also right, because in the next slide we have for computerized accounting. Right? That is a good sign that you have read the slides. Right? If you look at this slide, right? If you prior to the class, if you have read these slides, you will have all this information. Right? You will have all this information because these are the reasons why organizations needed computerized accounting. Okay? Organizations needed computerized accounting because of these problems. The need for computerized accounting arises from advantages of speed, accuracy, and lower cost of handling the business transactions. These are the major 3 reasons: speed, the accuracy, and the cost benefits. Right? So these major advantages have been considered when organizations wanted computerized accounting. Right? The reasons, the problems with the manual accounting was when there are numerous transactions, right? When there are numerous transactions happening in the businesses, right? Without computerized accounting, it was impossible to manage the company. Now, for example, you think small boutique that you have in your hometown or somewhere, small chiller garden, right? You go there, per day, there may be countable number of transactions happening. Smallest one at all. A countable amount of transactions happening. Then that Mudaladi can write down every transaction, and end of the day, sometimes he can prepare a small revenue reconciliation. Right? Small manual code, they can maintain and do a small reconciliation if they are doing. But think of the scale of that business when it comes to a supermarket. Right? Keels, Cargills, Wow, whatever it is. When it comes to a supermarket, how many transactions are happening per day? Right? How many customers are coming in? Each customer, how many items they are buying? Right? When the number of transactions grow like uncontrollably, you can't basically manage with manual accounting. It has become impossible. Right? So that is one major reason why organizations wanted the computerized account. Okay. And then instant reporting, as you very correctly said. Right? Instant reporting. Organizations want quick decisions now. Because the environment is changing quickly. You can't be waiting till the month end to make the decision. And say suddenly your computer is launching something. By next week you have to launch something again. Right? For that you can't be waiting till the month end to generate the report. Right? For today, what is the statement you want? Right? What is the profit and loss you have? Right? And then reduction in paperwork. Right? Then now there is a trend that using less papers and paperless environment in organization, right? So because of that, using unnecessary amount of papers or environmentalists and so many people are against using the papers, right? So I have seen in social media the students are sharing that say no to exams and save papers. Right? Even though that is a joke, even for examination, so many trees are cut to produce papers. Okay, that's why we are doing in a computerized environment. Even this examination is going as a computerized examination, right? And then for accounting also, as I told in the previous example, you have to waste so many books. Right, you have to use so many books for account keeping, recording, right? Therefore, with the computerized account, you can stop all this. When you need something only, you can take a printout, but otherwise you don't have to report everything on a paper. Then flexible report, right? Flexible report. From any duration to any duration, you can generate the report, right? Even in reports, you will experience when you are working with the software. In every report, even the fields can be customized. Even the formats can be customized, right? What are the information you need, additional information you need, that can be customized, right? So that flexibility is there in reporting. Right? And then the online facility. If you are maintaining manual accounts, right? Someone completely away from this office or somewhere, he can never contribute to your reporting. Right? He or she cannot access to your accounts or documents to contribute to your financial reporting part. Right? But if the accounting system is computerized, with the support of the internet, you can allow anyone to access this online and make the modifications. Right? And then the accuracy. Okay. Yes, any problem? The problem? No? Losing focus. No? It's been close to 1 hour. 40 seconds. There are some research findings that that is about online learning, but 40 minutes is the maximum focus in time span of natural person. Right? But when you are doing a degree, you have to push your comfort zone a little away. So at least 1.5 hours you will have all calculate. Okay. Because when you start working with the software, there are some accounts you have to prepare. It will take 1.5 hours. You don't even notice that 1.5 hours gone. Right? When you are preparing it, without finishing it, you can't leave. Right? Therefore, it's good to learn to focus. In another 10 to 15 minutes, we'll take a break. Okay. Then the accuracy, as you said, accuracy is important in account. Come on, we'll listen. Okay. Now I can focus here. Can you focus here? This. We'll focus here. In another 15 minutes, I will give the break. Okay. So focus on that. Accuracy is really important in accounting, especially in accounting, not like anything else. In any other professions, accuracy is needed. But as I told you, in accounting, a mistake and a fraud is difficult to be distinguished. It's very difficult to say whether it's a fraud or a mistake. Right? Therefore, if accounting records are accurately maintained, accuracy is a really important matter. In manual setting, accuracy can suffer when you are taking totals, when you are posting from one account to another account. Things are done manually. That's why correction of errors. You have a topic in errors, no? Correction of errors. So those errors happen when people are doing it. Right? Even with computer system, some errors can happen. Because for an expense account, if you select a capital account, right? For an expense account, you are selecting an asset account. So it's a evidently obvious. So system can't do anything for that. It's your problem. Some errors can happen, but those posting errors, casting errors, all that can't happen. Because if you record in the right format, it should be automatically recorded with the right. Therefore, accuracy is improved when you are using computer accounting. And the security. Right? Here, if all your accounts are kept in a cupboard, anyone has the access to that cupboard can alter any accounts, any details in a manual account. Right? In a computer accounting, even though they can access to your computer, even though they can access to the software, even though they can open your company file, right? If they cannot log into the administrative access, right? They can't access everything, right? If you have locked with the password and protection, then no one can access your information. Even though they have the laptop and everything is given open to them, they can't access information, right? So it's password protected. And then the scalability. Scalability is another serious problem. Let's say you are running a small shop and suddenly your businesses are doing well now. You have to scale up your business. Then, if you are maintaining small books, set of books, now you have to restart all your reporting with a large set of books. Right? Let's say immediately after adjusting to that books, again you have to scale. Right? Now you are limiting the size of your business because accounting is difficult. Right? Let's say you are restricted because you know it's a hard work to convert all this accounting to a bigger version, right? But business should have the freedom to expand at any time, right? Expand the number of customers, number of transactions. That is what businesses want, right? Therefore, that scalability is there. Whether you enter 100 transactions, whether you enter 100,000 transactions, software is working in the same speed. Right? Software can handle whether you enter 100 transactions or 100,000 transactions. Okay. So that scalability option is there, right? Then, what are the features of computer accounting environment? This is not about software, right? In a computer accounting environment, what are the features? Right? Now, I can understand you all are in need of a break. But the thing is, this is a 3-hour lecture. 3-hour lecture. Still 1 hour gone. 1.5. Started at 3. Okay, 1.5 hour gone is okay. Right? If 1 hour is gone, because we have to track as much as possible and then get the break, right? Because next half is much difficult. Half of the lecture is much difficult after the break. Okay, and therefore I will discuss this slide and then take a break. Features of a computer's accounting environment. In a computer's accounting environment, what are the features? Number one is simple and integrated, right? In a computer's accounting environment, you can't be isolated as an account department, right? Accounting or finance department has an accounting and finance department in organization. You can't be an isolated, having some tables in a corner. You can't be doing like that, right? All the functions should be integrated to your system. For example, from the stores, there should be a link to your software, right? You should get the inventory updates. You should get the stock updates about each and every product, right? From the sales department, you should be getting information about how many quantities are being sold, what are the future orders that are coming in. All that should be integrated. From the HR department, you should be getting what is the next month HR budget, what is the salary you have paid, what are the checks being issued for employees, all that. Everything should be integrated. Without that integration, you can't be running a computer's accounting environment by being isolated as a traditional accounting department, right? And then accuracy and speed, right? In a computer's accounting environment, speed should be there, right? If today morning you receive some information, right? By the evening, everything should be complete and entered in the system, and system should be responding to that, right? System should be updated. Databases should be updated according to that, and there should be accuracy. Now, when you look at when you download a report from the computer's accounting system, you should not be doubting about the numerical accuracy of it, right? Now, for example, okay, whether these totals are done accurately, whether this is the right total of this, you can't have a doubt on that. Like when you collect money from the ATM machine, and suppose you are counting that money again. Let's say you take from the ATM, you ask the ATM to give you 4,000 rupees. Right? It came in change. 500, 100, and all. Do you count that again? There are some people who count even, right? Okay. But usually you don't count, right? Majority doesn't count. Answer those who count. Answer those who have counted. Usually count. You can count. It's your money, right? It's your money, you can count. But usually we don't count. Right? If there is a specific reason, like it's a big amount of money, then we are like compared to count and see whether it's the right money, right amount. Usually we don't count because we trust the ATM machine. Okay, we trust the ATM machine to a certain extent. Let's say if there is no any technical error in the machine, usually it should give the right amount. Otherwise, they can't run that machine. So that accuracy should be there in the computer's accounting environment, right? The accounting report given by the system should be accurate. We have to accept that. Right? Should be sure about the report, right? Otherwise, you can't run computer's accounting in that environment. And then the scalability, whatever the quantities come into the as transactions, you should not be worried. In a computer's accounting environment, when a huge number of transactions come, you should not be worried. You should not be panicking, right? In a manual, have you seen in a small shop sometimes, when you go and suddenly ask for a big order, right? They get panicked. They will be able to handle this much of a big order, right? They get panicked. Sometimes. That is true because sometimes they won't be able to handle that capacity, right? But in a computer's environment, computer's accounting environment, that panic should not be there because the scalability option is always there. That in the culture they should know that, right? And then instant reporting, right? As I told you, in a manual accounting environment, manager will ask, will give 3 days to prepare a report, right? In a computer's accounting environment, they will give a call and I need that report in 5 minutes. That's what you get, right? In 5 minutes, I need a small report, maybe just a PDF. You can just email, right? That instant reporting should be there in a computer's accounting environment. Right? Let me see whether this has a continuation. Sorry, there's a continuation. We'll finish that. The continuation of a few minutes. This is it. And the security, right? Security should be there. And if let's say if an assistant accountant comes and tells the manager, I don't know, without my knowledge, my records are being manipulated or something, manager should not believe it, because he should be sure that the security is in place, right? The accountant can't come and complain to the management that our company file is deleted in the system. Our company file is not here. So, we have lost all the data. So it's a very bad message that the government is giving, right? So security should be guaranteed, right? And then quick decision making is enabled. As I told you, data is in your fingertips. You can easily access any data, right? Any report you can generate in no time. Therefore, for decision making, you don't spend time, hours and hours, right? You can quickly access to all this data, whatever the modified reports you can generate based on all the information, you can easily or quickly make your decisions, right? And then reliability. On the entire accounting process, the company should be reliant, right? The reports, you can't say these reports are wrong, right? You can't say these reports are showing a wrong image, right? Because in a computerized environment, the reliability, consistency, and everything is properly, right? So those are the features of a computerized accounting environment. And just looking at the next slide, not going to discuss it. Okay, you can take a small break. Thereafter, we will discuss about the requirements of a computerized accounting system. Now the time is 5:75, right? 4:35. 4:35. Take 10 minutes break. Enough. Take a 10 minutes break. 15. Okay, take a 15 minutes break. Come on back. I want. I thought better to wait till everyone comes here. Quickly mark your attendance and complete it. So you do not mark that. Right, let's start again. When a computer accounting system is being developed, right, there are some requirements. After refreshing, now you are fine. Right? When you are developing, not you are developing, maybe the software development company. When they develop computer accounting systems, there are some requirements. Out of those requirements, there are two major requirements that should be there. Without these two properly, you can't develop a computer accounting system. Right? Number one is an accounting framework. Right? Accounting framework. It is the in terms of accounting principles, coding and grouping is a precondition where any software developer should be following these given framework. Right? Without following the common framework, different accounting software packages would have been developed in different ways. Right? For example, whatever the accounting package you are using, when there is an increase in assets, right, that should be recorded as a debit entry. No matter whatever software package you are using, wherever in the world. Right? So that is because the framework has given, right? Framework has given that what is the definition for an asset, right? How the asset should work. Based on your transaction, if a positive impact happens to the assets, I mean, if assets are increasing, what the record should be. All these are clearly given as the framework. The strong framework is required for computer accounting systems to be developed. Without that, what happens is, if different people start referring to different frameworks or different standards, you can't be relying on different accounting packages to analyze your financial data or to you can't even rely on their reports because different companies are using different frameworks and different procedures they follow. Right? It can't happen. Wherever in the world, when the softwares are developed, they all should be following the same framework. That is number one requirement, right? So it is the application environment of the computer accounting system. So because after developing your accounting package, you should be working within the same accounting environment, right? Accountants are using wherever in the world. Right? Therefore, based on the accountants' knowledge, based on the accountants' framework that they are following, the software should be supported. Software should be helping the accountant to make their own work easy. Right? Then the operating procedures. Some operating procedures are required for an accounting package to run properly. Well-conceived and designed operating procedures blended with suitable operating environment is necessary to work with the computers accounting system. So, properly and well-established accounting procedures are required. For example, when you receive an invoice, okay, when you receive an invoice, what do you do as an account? Let's say a customer invoice you received. A customer invoice you have received. But you are, let's say you are the customer, you are as an organization, you are the customer, you have received that invoice, so in your end, it becomes a purchase invoice. Right? When you receive a purchase invoice, what are you doing? What is the first thing you are doing? Where are you recording it first? Accounting software, but specifically, where are you recording? What is the starting document of accounting procedure? The double-ended bookkeeping system. What is the starting point of the accounting procedure? Starting document. Source document. Very good. Source document. So I gave an example of a source document invoice. Right. Purchase invoice. When you receive a purchase invoice, where do you record it first? This is not IOB. This is not computerized accounting. This is O-level commerce and A-level accounting. And we record it first. Purchase journal. Purchases for purchases, you have a journal. The purchase journal, you are recording, right? After recording in the purchase journal, at the end of the period, you are taking the final balance to where? The purchases account, right? To the purchases account. Yeah? Can you remember? After taking to the purchases account, at the end of the accounting period, you are totaling or tallying the accounts, balancing the accounts. After balancing the account, what are you doing? Those balances, where do you keep them? Where do you take those balances? I'm not asking anything advanced, right? I'm asking normal accounting procedure, nothing related to software or computer accounting. After balancing the ledger account, where do you take that balance? To the trial balance. To the trial balance. Why are we taking it to the trial balance? To see whether the debits and credits are tallying. Right? In trial balance, what are we checking? What is the accuracy we are checking? Arithmetic accuracy or not? It can't guarantee. Even when debit side and credit side is equal, it doesn't guarantee that your entire accounting procedure is accurate. Your entire accounting procedure is accurate. Doesn't guarantee that. Right? But it guarantees that for every debit entry you have kept, there is a credit entry. Right? For every debit entry you have kept, there is a credit entry. That is the only guarantee you can have. Okay? Even though both sides are tallying, there can be errors. That is why you have correction of errors. After preparing the trial balance, then you are doing some adjustments to those balances. If there are any year-end adjustments are there, correction of errors is there, any adjustments you are doing, right? That is how you prepare the company accounts question in A-level or even in your financial accounting unit, right? After making adjustments, with the adjusted balances, you are preparing the final accounts. Income statement, different names are there, time to time. Balance sheet, cash flow statement, notes, right, and changes in equity statement. right? This is the procedure. So these procedures after reporting in the journal, then that balance should be taken to the ledger account. After ledger account, it has to be taken to the trial balance. All these procedures will have to be properly documented, right? These procedures, you cannot skip these procedures in computer accounting software development, right? So you should, number one, you have to have a proper framework. Then you have to have a proper operating procedures where everything is properly documented and procedures are followed. The computer accounting is one of the database-oriented applications where the transaction data is stored in well-organized databases. So whenever you enter a transaction, where these transactions should be stored in the databases has to be properly given as instructions. Now you will understand when you start working with the software. You have databases, basically you are working with databases, but you don't go into the database and do anything. With nice forms, user-friendly forms, you are working, and each of these entries are going into different databases, right? When you create supplier cards, they are going into one particular database called supplier cards database, right? When you create customer cards, they are going into another database. When you are creating items, inventory items, all that, they are going into another database. When you are entering transactions, they are going into different databases, right? So when you enter an item, it never goes to the supply card database, right? Because that procedure is properly defined in the software, right? Therefore, broadly understand, for you to have a computer accounting system developed, you have to have a proper accounting framework, right? All over the world, that should be common. And then there should be properly defined operating procedures. Right? These two are the prerequisites of developing a computer accounting system. Then you can see this now. And this says, can you see? Okay. Then this computer accounting software can be categorized into different types. Right? There are different types of computer accounting software. The first type is off-the-shelf software packages. Right? Off-the-shelf software packages. The idea is they are already developed software packages that is available for users to use generally. You can go to the market and buy the software. Right? One good example is the software where you are going to learn the Mayo software. Right? The software is, we are not touching anything about the back end, or we are not developing the software. It's available in the market. You can go and buy the software, right? And just install in the company, run your accounting system. You don't have to develop in your organization, right? Those kinds of software packages are known as off-the-shelf software. They are developed for all users in general and does not possess any elements that would help out a specific category of users substantially. So it is not focusing on a specific category, right? It does not have a limitation. You can use this software only for manufacturing industry. You can use this software only for service industry. No such classification. Generally, any company can use it, right? Because that is a ready-made, like a ready-made product. The ready-made product, anyone can adopt it and use it, right? Number two, customized software. Customizing, right? So they are also ready-made software, but you can take it and you can modify the software according to your preferences, right? That means source codes you can modify the source code, and you can add some new features. You can modify the reports. You can modify the requirements. right? Some procedures also you can modify. Okay, so those software are known as customized software. So they are ready-made software programs that have been altered to meet the specific requirements of the user. Right? So your requirements can be given into the software and accordingly you can modify it. Okay, is it clear now? Off-the-shelf software you can't modify, you buy that and use it. The customized software you buy it, but you can alter it. You can modify it and adapt it accordingly. Right? Then the last one is tailor-made software. Tailor-made software means you are giving all your instructions from the beginning. Right? You ask developers to come to your organization, study the company, study the procedures, develop the software for your specific needs from the sketch development. Okay, so it is usually designed for large-scale businesses only, and require specialized training before users are adopting in working with the software and execute program accurately. So, why do we recommend this for large-scale businesses only? Anyone can think of the reason? Customized software, I mean tailor-made software. We are recommending tailor-made software only for large organizations. Any reason? Again, cost. Costly. It's very costly. When you bring in the developers and give the requirement, and based on that, they are developing it from the beginning, right? So it's highly costly. Therefore, small organizations can't afford it. No point of affording it. For small organizations, they can handle with other software packages, right? And also, why that software needs specialized training? Because that is the only company using that software after making it a tailor-made software, right? Let's say you learn MyOB, okay? And if there are some companies who are using MyOB, you can just go and start working with them, right? And also, there are you don't find MyOB in every organization. You will find different packages. But MyOB is a good start to understand the procedures and formats. Right? MyOB is not a very sophisticated software. Right? But this is the best start for you to go into the computer's accounting environment from the manual understanding. Right? Because currently you are working with in the classes you are learning the manual accounting stuff, and then rather than directly jumping into the ERP, some of you may be working with ERP, that is true. But you will be working in a particular module, right? You will be working in a particular section in the ERP. You won't be working with the entire ERP. If you are working with the entire ERP, that's great. Super. If you are in the system development side, then you will get the chance to go through the entire ERP. But after the fact, you will be working in a particular module, right? But here, you are going to have a full understanding of the entire software, right? So 360-degree understanding you are going to get. Yeah. Specialized training is required for tailor-made software because there is no any experts available. Because this is the first time you are using that software. But if you get used to the famous software, which is a off-the-shelf software, right? Then that knowledge is important. You can even put that in your CV. And ability to work with computerized accounting. Now, even after this learning this course unit, you can put in your CV, right? Now in the modern CVs, you have a section called skills. Right? In modern CVs, you have a section called skills. One of your skills is ability to work with computerized accounting packages. Within brackets, mention MyOB. Right? Because if you are paying and doing it in any other organization, this is a specific separate course. Learning the software is a course, separate course. It's great that you are having that in your degree itself, but highlight that separately. In your CV, of course, you have a degree, that is true, but highlight this separately as a skill, right? Because any general degree won't have this option. Okay. Ability to work with compressed accounts. So that is great to have get used to the off-the-shelf software packages and doing one. Right. So those are the types of computerized accounting packages. Here you get some examples of the computerized accounting package. Right? Sage, Peachtree, Simply Accounting, again that is by Sage, and Tally, Mayovi, so many stuff, right? You can see many of these products are done by Sage. Sage has their own product, Sage, and Sage is developing some other brands, right? Different brands done by similar. Like you are using so many social sites, but end of the day that is Meta, right? When you look at the root cause, that is Meta, whatever you use, like that, right? So there are some other companies also. Even this IFS, if you take even what else? M3, all there are so many, right? SAP, so many other organizations that are so many brands. They are developing the solutions for organizations. Right? Now, just to clarify one matter, yes, you are going to learn MyOB from next week. What is the meaning of this MyOB? That's your thing. Because Mayo, you can read it as Mayo. Right? Myopia is not a word, English word. It's not a word, actually. These are four letters, My or B. What can it stand for? What do you think? You can even ask from the ChatGPT. Are you using ChatGPT? I mean, any AI tools? Are you using? No. Hands of those who are not using AI tools. AI tools, whatever. Maybe ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. Whatever. Hands of those who are not using AI. Not using, they are living with it. Okay. Okay, it's very dangerous if you are not using it. Okay, you have to use it not only for copying assignments, but for the right purpose. You have to use it. Get used to it. Now the problem is students are using ChatGPT for all the unintended purposes, not for the intended purposes. AI is developed for, generative AI is developed for very genuine purpose, right? We are skipping that purpose and we are using it for unnecessary. What it stands for? MyOB. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. No, that is not a joke, that is real. That is the real name of the software. Because you, depending on the tone, the meaning will be different. You can say mind your own business. But here, you are going to mind your own business. You are going to take care of your own business because this will help you to control your business. It will help you to record all the transactions properly and to calculate profits and losses and everything and reporting. You can basically handle all your organizational functions, including billing, invoicing, check printing, and everything you can handle. Basically, you can mind your business, right? So you will experience that from the next week. And then advantages of computerized accounting, right? When you start using computerized accounting, what are the advantages you will get? Okay. One thing is better quality work, right? As we discussed earlier, now all these discussions we had from the beginning, they are linked to each other, right? We discussed problems with the manual accounting, right? And why organizations wanted computerized accounting. What are the prerequisites of computerized accounting software? And now, what are the types of computerized accounting? And now we are looking at what are the advantages. Usually, the advantages of computerized accounting are the remedies for the weaknesses of manual accounting, right? So it has a direct link. Advantages of computerized accounting are the remedies for the problems of manual accounting, right? So that's why we term that as better quality work, right? we discussed about the manual accounting as being not reliable, right? Not reliable, maybe errors can happen, accuracy is suffering, all that, right? Now here we say it's better quality work, right? You can rely on the outcomes, outputs, and when you are entering information, the accuracy can be maintained and everything, right? So better quality work can be done. It's uniform, accurate, and more legible, right? Uniform means every organization, if they are using those formats, those software, every organization's reports are coming in the standardized formats, right? So you can easily compare between divisions, or even between different time periods, you can compare the reports because all these are uniform, right? And then accurate. You don't have to doubt about the accuracy of a calculation. When you have even the discount percentages, when you have even the tax rates, when you have even the accurate accounts, right? After generating an invoice, you don't have to manually take a calculator and check the accuracy. The accuracy is there, right? You can trust the system. Therefore, better quality work can happen, skipping the human errors, right? And then lower operating cost. Operating cost is lower compared to manual working because it's reliable and it's a time saving. So computers are reliable and time saving. So you can quickly enter number of transactions, and also the volume of work that you can do with the computer can be really high compared to traditional accounting systems. Because of this reason, some accounting staff is losing their jobs, right? Some operational level, like in the data entry level, accounting people are losing their jobs because of this computerized accounting or computer-based accounting software. Now the thing is, there is a general saying that accounting is within the declining job categories. Have you heard that? Accounting, general accounting, and accounting jobs are among the declining job categories, but that statement is redefined as traditional accounting is in the declining area. Accountants' role is changed, right? Now, when people start publishing something and when people start talking about common things, without properly explaining it, they just spread the word, right? So this has happened with numbers. I'm saying this because the future of jobs economic, what is that? World Economic Forum future of jobs report. In that report, data entry clerks, accounting clerks, and all that is coming under the declining side, and the analytics and all this is coming in the system analyst, data analyst, all that is coming in the growing side. Right? By looking at these reports, especially the western parts of the world, right, the students are not following accounting system. Right, that is a trend now for accounting degree programs in western part of the world. They are not following so many accounting degree programs. They are not learning accounting. Because of that, there are few countries that are still focusing on accounting and finance. They are having a huge demand in the world for accounting jobs. Sri Lanka, India, and Pakistan. Sri Lanka, India, and Pakistan, they are getting a huge demand for accounting because still accounting is a highly demanded and course established area for these countries, right? Because accounting is a what we call the painful function, right? People don't like accounting because it requires brain. Okay, no matter what systems you use to work with these numbers, to think of these analyses and analyze all that, right? You need to use your brain. It cannot be done by AI all the time. Automatically you can't do. And out of these three countries, still the western part trust Sri Lankans because of their honesty, integrity, and trust. Even though we blame our people, they are not honest and all that. Compared to other two countries, we are still better. I'm not saying this. The western part is demanded. Right? Western countries are still demanding Sri Lankans. In Middle East and in western part of the world, Sri Lankan accountants will have a huge demand because others are not doing it. Right? Therefore, what you have to do is, you are in the right profession, but your role is changing. You can't be just keep the recording and getting away with that. You have to analyze, you have to go to the decision making level. That is why I want you all to focus on this, learn this properly, and not only to record financial transactions. That is one part of it. Right? Even AI can do that in the future. Right? In the future, AI will do all that and ask you to click a button to approve that. Because human intervention is required. Right? Then you should know how to check everything and check whether AI has done it accurately and click the button. And what is required from you is to interpret that and give the management the solutions. Strategic thinking is required. Long-term thinking is everywhere you are hearing that word. No, strategic thinkers are required. Strategic role is required. Strategic means what? You should be able to see 3 to 5 years ahead of the organization. Right? And always understand, since you all are working, you may have experience also. If you want to climb up your career ladder, always go to your boss with solutions, not with problems. Based on my experience in the industry and my academic experience and all that, altogether now I have like 13 years of experience, work experience, right? Right? With that experience, I'm saying, people who go to their bosses with problems, you may have experience in your workplaces, always go to the boss with problems. I can't do this. There's a problem here. You are asking the solution from the boss. At a trainee level, you have to do it. At the intern level, at the trainee level, bosses expect that. Right? You will come with problems. You have to solve them. You are being trained. You are under training. Right? But when you pass that era, when you join the organization on permanent basis, like junior executives or executives, whatever it is level, and especially before going to the managerial level, your superiors want you to come with solutions. You have problems, right? I have a problem, but for this problem, these are the solutions I think. What is your idea? These are the solutions I think. Okay. Then that is more really convenient for the manager. Okay. Then because you are going with solutions, right? Manager should not waste his brain. I mean, use his brain to think of solution. You are coming with the solution. He just have to pick one. Right? Based on his experience, he will pick the right solution. So you are becoming a convenient person to the manager. Right? You are becoming an asset to the organization. Otherwise, you are becoming a liability to the organization. Always coming with problems. You don't know that he's coming with the problem. Right? They are ready to answer the questions. Now, when someone coming with the solution, they know there may be a problem, but he's coming with solutions. You have to just pick the solution, right? So that is the level of maturity required from an accountant in the future, right? Therefore, even though computer accounting is reducing the cost of the divisions, you will not be replaced if you have the right skills. Okay, and then it improves efficiency. Efficiency includes the speed, accuracy, and performance of the accounting system. Right? Quickly, you can prepare reports and you can generate insights, and also the accuracy will be improved. Therefore, the improved accuracy or efficiency is another advantage of computerized accounting. Right. And also it is facilitating better control. Okay, you don't have to have so many physical controls. You don't have a security guard in the department. You don't have to have anything. System itself can control. Right. Let's say there are five people working in the accounting finance department. So for all 5 people, you can provide 5 access. Right, 5 usernames and access passwords you can give them. For each and every user, you can give limited access. Let's say one employee can access only the banking transactions. Other areas are restricted. The other employee is restricted with bank transactions, but only the payroll transactions are accessed. Right? Like that, you can restrict different areas. You will experience this when you are creating the company. So that better control can be done without spending so much on physical control, right? And also, if you have a backup of this software, right? If you have a backup of this company file, then no one can damage your data. Even someone destroys your computer in the office, still you have the backup file. If you have the backup file in your email or somewhere, very small number of megabytes are required to have the backup. So next day you can start. That is how you are going to work actually. After working in the class, you can take the backup into your emails, and next week you have to download that company file and start working with it. So it's so convenient. And then greater accuracy, because the accounting reports and financial statements are more accurate. We've been talking about that. No omitting or special thing about this accuracy is omissions. No omissions in the records will be there. System will not allow you to enter transactions if the transaction is not complete. Right? For example, you enter the debit side. When you're filling the form, you will enter one part of the transaction. If that part is not tracked by the other entry, then you are not allowed to click the button. You are not allowed to record the transaction unless the transaction is complete. Okay, so you are not going and entering debit this, credit this, and that. You are just filling some forms, right? You are just filling the form. The system will debit and credit to the relevant places. But if the information is missing, you will not be allowed to click that button. Right? Therefore, there's a greater accuracy controlled by the system. And now we are going to the bad part of the computer's accounting or disadvantages of computer's accounting. Right? What are the disadvantages of computer's accounting? Number one is user training. Right? User training means if you acquire accountant who does not have computer's accounting knowledge, you have trained that user from the beginning. Right? That is why when you go to the industry, you have a basic understanding of computer's accounting because you are doing it hands-on. Right? If you are already working, that is great with the software. Right? But if this is the first time you are going to learn a computer's accounting software, so this is improving your skill, actually. Right? So you are working with the software, you know how to work. Whatever the other software you have, you can easily adopt. Now, one example that I have experienced, when I was in my undergraduate level, we learned my UOB, a different version of that. It was so easy. Still, after that, when I went for my internship, we had Peachtree that I showed you, the Peachtree software in their company. But I could attempt, I could get adopted to the Peachtree so fast than all other trainings because I know what is happening in the back. Right? Only difference is the button is in different place. Right? Appearance is a bit different. Right? How to click and drop down is a bit different. But I know what's happening here. Right? Even I can self-study and quickly improve myself. Certain tools that even the existing accountant didn't know about that software, I told him this is possible. Right? They were entering all the items again and again. Then I told him there's an option to store all these items and quickly pick that item and enter it. Right? For invoicing, it's a basic mistake. It's not that I'm a hero that I taught something very brilliant. It's a basic function available in the software, but the accountant didn't know that. Okay. They were entering it again and again, but there is a database. You can enter the item list in the database. Just pick the item and easily create the invoice. Right? So that makes you a star in the company. Right? That is important, especially at the junior level. When you become the star, next time immediate promotion, you are the one who can select. Right? That is it's a different game. You have to understand in the corporate sector how to shine and get the next promotion. There are other methods also to go up the ladder. Don't use them. Show your colors and go up the ladder. Okay. Then the system dependency is another disadvantage in one scenario. Because if the system goes in a crash, right? If the system crashes without any backup, then all your information will be corrupted. Okay? There is a chance that your company file can be corrupted. I will teach you when we are discussing. Right? This is important at your examination. Before submitting the company file, some students submit the corrupted file. Right? Before closing the software, if you take the backup, right? If you take the backup company file before closing the software, that is a corrupted company file. Right? Therefore, some students submit that corrupted company file as the exam answer. It's very dangerous. I'll teach you that. So the problem is the system dependency. You are depending on the system. If system failure happens, then you will not have the access. Right? And then hardware requirement. Obviously, fully fledged computer with all these facilities required, speed is required. Right? Not like right here on a table, you can't just do this counting. You have to have a computer and connected all other equipment and devices to do that. But this is not a major disadvantage at the moment, because any small company will have the computing facilities now, right? And then system failures. In case of a failure in the hard disk or any storage device, right? If you have no proper backup procedure, then you are at risk. But if you have a proper backup procedure, even at the system failure, you don't have a problem. Right? If you take the backup and if you store it somewhere, then you don't have a problem. But the problem is some students, I have seen in previous batches, some students, they create the company file and store it in their pen drive or somewhere, and they create the backup and store the same in the same pen drive. They store the backup in the same pen drive. Then what happens if the pen drive is lost? Then you use the company file, the backup. When you are keeping the backup, you have to keep it somewhere. Maybe in the Google Drive, maybe in the cloud, email, wherever. Other than your original file, the location of the original. Right? System failure can damage it. And then backups and breaks. So regularly you have to take backups. Right? Even though it's mode of safety, it's an additional procedure. Right? It's an additional procedure. The accountant will have to perform. You have to take continuous backups. Right? Maybe every day after entering transactions, you will have to take your backups. Right? Now, while looking at the disadvantages, right? We were talking about advantages and good things about the computer accounting. And here we touched about the disadvantages of computer accounting. While looking at these disadvantages, do you feel like not going for computer accounting is better to stay with manual accounting? So there are disadvantages. There are disadvantages, right? By looking at this, and some anyone who thought this computer accounting is risky, therefore better to go with manual account. No one? Isn't it risky? Right. Okay. No, it's very good. Right. The many industries and the entire world did not agree on them, right? Because there are disadvantages. Some of these disadvantages can be easily changed into strengths by careful management of this, right? System failures can be managed by taking backups, right? Even though backup procedure takes some time, right? It's more work than maintaining new list of books, right? These disadvantages are much lesser, right? Much lesser powerful than the advantages it has. That is why companies are moving towards the computer accounting. The computer accounting is also not so modern. Now we are talking about cloud accounting, right? Cloud accounting has become the new model of keeping it, right? So what cloud accounting does is, it is a term used to refer to a model of network computing, where a computing accounting program or application runs on a connected server or servers rather than on a local computing device such as a personal computer. Now, MyOB is installed in your lab computers. Okay, MyOB is installed in your computers, the lab, right? It's not a cloud, but if there is an application that is being installed in a server somewhere, right, and you are taking their service on a connected network and you are accessing a software that is completely in a different location on a different server, and you are just logging for the using purpose, and then you are logging out. Therefore, the software is not stored anywhere in your personal computer. So that type of a network model is the cloud accounting, right? Cloud accounting, even though you think the accounting application is on the cloud is a server somewhere, right? Some companies are maintaining servers. So there are servers, they are maintaining the accounting software. What you are getting is an access to those software, right? For example, there is a software called Acumatica. Have you heard of that? Acumatica accounting. Just go and search it. When you go to the Acumatica page, there is a product by IFS, right? So when you go to their page, you can create a login and you can create a company, right? You have to pay for that. You can create a company there, and your entire accounting records are maintained on that cloud. You don't store anything, right? You purchase and access, right? So you are maintaining all accounts in their application, and you are generating any reports. You are customizing everything. You are doing everything, but you are not maintaining your accounting software in-house. It's on the cloud, right? If you want to, recruit another accountant. Let's say that accountant wants another access, you have to purchase another access. That's like you are creating another Facebook profile, right? You are creating an access, then you can define, administrator can define what are the restrictions and everything. On the cloud, there is an ERP, right? ERP packages running on the cloud computing system, right? So the hosted application can be accessed by any internet-enabled device, such as PC, tablet, or smartphone. That is the best thing, right? This MyOB package you are learning can be accessed or can be operated using a computer or personal computer. You can't do it with the mobile phone, right? You cannot access, you can work on a mobile phone because it should be installed on a Windows computer. You can't install it in an Apple computer. Sorry for that. If you are having an Apple laptop or computer, you can't install this version into that computer. The student version is not there, right? There is a small disadvantage of this, but if it was a cloud version, you can even use your Apple iPhone or mobile phone, whatever it is, to access that from anywhere in the world, right? So that is the advantage of cloud accounting. And here you can see some cloud accounting examples. These are a few examples, right? If we get a time, we will see how Xero is working. There are QuickBooks and all that. Even in MyOB, there is a cloud version, right? Even in MyOB, there is a cloud version, but that is not a good start. After learning this background, it is good to try. But for starting point, this is the best way because convenient. Right, even this software package, some students are struggling to catch up in certain areas. Therefore, it's not good to start with the very highly sophisticated software package because you are learning, right? These are some packages. Right? Then, why businesses are moving towards for using cloud accounting? What are the reasons? One reason is mobile access at any time from anywhere, as I told you, right? From anywhere in the world, you can access to the software and enter an invoice. Right? Let's say your manager is abroad, but still he is looking at your reports in the system using his mobile phone. Maybe on the flight, he can be checking on your report or any transactions you enter, and then get an up-to-date view of your business. No matter how many people are working in the same software, right? You can get the most updated, up-to-date information. Now in computer-based accounting, MyOB, at a time, one person can use it. At the same time, 2-3 persons can't log into the system and work. Right? Once one login is done, complete, and log out, then only the other person can log in. right? But in cloud accounting versions, different people can log into the system at the same time and work, right? That is another advantage. Cost and time-effective solution for automation, right? It is cost-effective because purchasing a login is much cheaper than buying an entire software, right? Buying a license for an entire software is much expensive compared to buying a login of a cloud account, right? Cloud version. So it's a cost-effective and quick solution. Quickly you can generate or create that company. And then security and not time-consuming backups. You don't have to worry about backups. In MyOB, you have to worry about backup. You have to keep the backup, right? But in cloud accounting, you don't have to worry about backups. Backups are taken by the company who is hosting the software, right? It's not with you, it is somewhere else, right? They are taking care of your backups and everything. And then share and collaborate with these. You can collaborate, as I told you, collaboratively. Many people can work with the same software and improves accuracy of accounting. Accuracy of accounting is anyway there in the computer accounting as well, right? For in cloud accounting also accuracy is there. It's a common feature. And then reduces paperwork and more sustainable. More sustainable means even the most updated features will be added by that company. You don't have to worry about updating the software for later versions, right? That company will be updating the software package, including the new features, so we can experience those new features, right? And then no installation required and easy accessible to tech support. You don't have to install in your computer. Easily you can take the tech support. And the special importance of some of these cloud packages is, let's say you are trained on that particular package, then there will be many companies who are acquiring the same thing, same software, right? So you can easily go into any of those companies, do more job of it, right? Now, why I know this Acumatica is they have to do some workshops to our students at university, right? They wanted freely. They deliver sessions for students to teach Acumatica software. We were wondering why these people are spending time doing all the lectures and training our students. For their software, students are benefiting. They are getting a certificate. Why are they training? Why do you think why they are training? They are giving free access to their database. They have created a separate database for the students, giving all the access to that. Students are well trained. Reason? Because they know these students will become the future accountants in companies, right? When the companies want to automate their accounting system, they will always recommend Acumatica because they know. You usually always you recommend what you know because you can be a star then, right? You usually recommend what you know. Right? So that is the strategy. So no installation required. Then with that you can get wider job opportunities. Right? So those are the reasons why companies use cloud accounting. Right. That is a small this is the last case study. Yeah. This is all case study. We have only 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Right? Now this is the application part. Okay, this is the application part. Then I want you to quickly read the case. Great Field Garden is a small landscaping business owned by Anshika. For years, she managed her business finances using manual accounting methods. Right? So there is a small business being managed with manual accounting, writing on papers, with Excel, whatever it is. She maintained physical ledger for recording transactions, manually calculated payrolls, maybe few employees, and used the basic spreadsheet for tracking expenses and income. In an Excel sheet, she is entering the revenues and costs. Right? With the increased volume of transactions handled last year, Anushika was struggling to maintain the records of transactions. Now, when the volume is greater, it's difficult to write everything manually. Okay. Then one major customer payment. Now listen to this case. Listen to this case in a business perspective. One major customer payment was completely missed from the account. Customer has paid us, but we missed it. And she has asked the customer to provide proof of the payment. Now let's say you are the customer. You have made the payment. Now business is asking again, send us the proof that you have made the payment. What is the trust you have about the business? Right? Your payment is not giving proper impact. The customer is a bit upset. They are asking for the proof. So that is a problem. That is a dangerous alarm. How financial reporting inaccuracy is bringing you less business. It's affecting your business. Right? And then further, she wanted to analyze the expenses to see which expenditure could be managed to improve her profit. She should be analyzing the expenses to see what is happening. Right? So, form a group. Now here we don't have that option, right? Like this also difficult. Individually, I want you to individually think. And you have to consult because that is the future accountant's role. Not just to report what is given, but to analyze the situation and consult the manager. Because business owners, there are a lot of business owners. They have enough money, but they don't have knowledge on it. Understand? Money has a different way of management, right? Those who have money don't always have the biggest brains, right? But they are good at doing something. They are good at doing something that brings money. Okay, but they are not good at everything. They are not good at reporting. They don't even know what is the profit they are getting, right? But they have enough. Therefore, accountant's role is you are providing a professional service to those people, business people, and you become the consultant, right? Then you can be paid a good salary. Okay, you will be paid well if you properly consult them. The accountant's role is that, right? Not to do whatever is being told. No one will be there to tell you what you have to. Now, case is given, problem is given to you. You are the accountant. You have to make a solution. Now you have to consult the possible solution to the problem she faces. What any solution you can provide or recommend to her? The problem is given. These are the problems we learned from the beginning of today's lesson. Problems with annual account. Right? Basically, you should be recommending her to go for a computerized accounting solution. Right? For a small shop like this, greenfield garden, small landscaping business, it is not a good thing to recommend her to go for a cloud ERP or something very advanced. Package, right? It's better to go for a small accounting package that can handle some decent amount of transactions, right? And also you can support to analyze the expenditure and all that, right? Just a small thing before we wind up. Hands up those who are at the end of the month, right? Those who are earning, you will have salary. Right? Those who are still running from parents' money, you will have pocket money. Right? Somehow you will have an inflow, right? Cash inflow. End of the month, those who are having a surplus cash. Those who are having a surplus cash at the end of the month. Let's say you are getting 50,000 salary, at the end of the month you have 10,000. Those who are on debt every month. So many hands. Right? Just this is about the company account, right? This is about the company account. But this is a personal account. There are personal accounting packages. If you are at the store, go to your Global IB. This is this. And there are software packages, applications, apps that can track your expenses. That can track your expenses, that can track your income and expenses. It doesn't take time, right? Whenever you spend something, anyway your phone is on hand every time, right? Every time your phone is with you. Just enter that amount in the right category. There are categories. With that category, end of the month is a business. End of the month, do a small analysis. These apps are giving you an analysis. What aspect you have spent unnecessarily? Where you can manage. That will help you to prevent from bad companies. Accountants have no right to be bad companies. Because all the people who are there to right organization do not be bad. If you can't manage your fight over the market, you are not going to be able to company. Whatever salary, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 1 million, whatever it is. If you don't have your management, you will not have any money. I have seen people earning 7 figures. They run out of cash. I have seen people with 6 figures. These are 6 figures. But still they manage to save and invest. It's about discipline, and accountants don't have excuses for that. Others can have excuses because they don't know. Right, when we'll meet next week, I guess it has to be on the level, right? Without that, we can't do it. So we'll start by doing this. Yeah, I want you all to come.